For the second time this week, City are back in action at the Park as we take on Leyton Orient. This is Park Life. Coming up on today's show, we of course hear from the manager, Matt Taylor. We get our usual history lesson with Will, and Jed Penberthy gives us the Leyton Orient lowdown. But first, let's take a look back at Tuesday night as City took on Walsall.
Number 16, Robbie Wilmot. Number 8.
Really pleased with the effort and endeavour. A little bit of short of, maybe a little bit of quality at times. It was going to take something in terms of a break of the ball or a little bit of quality.
After a start to 2021, which feels like we've been forever playing on the road, here is manager Matt Taylor now talking about home comforts after 2 home games in a row.
The players are still the same, personnel is still the same. I don't think they'll change too much because the manager has been part of their coaching team for a large part now for a number of seasons and has a big role to play in relation to that. So we've got an idea of what to expect this weekend. As always, we'll focus on ourselves and picking up a few tired bodies from Tuesday night, getting ready for the weekend. We know we're going to be stronger in terms of the personnel we've got to choose from, but also being able to impact the game from the bench as well is something we're looking forward to this weekend. You mentioned before what the lads did today in relation to training. A split group, one group of tired bodies on the AstroTurf doing very little, and then a training group. And the training group were really impressive in terms of when they went about their business. And some players put themselves in a good position going into the weekend.
I know you're tired of talking about it, so I won't go into too much detail. But obviously, on Tuesday we played on the pitch for the first time since we had all that rain that saw the Grimsby game called off. Are you pleased with it, or would you rather it was, basically, is it as bad as you expected it to be after all that rain?
I'll probably rephrase it. It's probably as good as it can be. Let's be honest, in terms of the work Chaz and the rest of the ground staff do. It's as good as it can be in terms of this time of year. There's a bit of a split on the pitch now in terms of areas of no grass and areas where the ball travels more smoothly or truly. But it certainly doesn't help what we're trying to do in relation to our philosophy and our style of play. But I was pleased with how firm it was on Tuesday night, which shows the drainage is working, which suggests players can travel at a greater speed than on a slow, soft pitch. But time will tell in terms of how it lasts from now until the end of the season. I know we've got a lot of games and potentially an FA Youth Cup game on there as well. But a lot of pitches are struggling at the moment. So it's certainly the best it can be. And then hopefully we'll invest in it at the end of the season and possibly get some serious work done to it and improve that playing surface for a longer period of time. I think it's been well documented in the headlines recently, obviously what's happened at Newport and what they've requested. And it's, the surfaces are affecting teams who want to play football of a certain type. I think it was compounded on Tuesday because Walsall sat in behind the ball and we couldn't quite break them down, and the 0-0 scoreline suggests that we couldn't quite convert the possession and the pressure into chances. And if you've got a quick slip surface, then obviously that bodes well for your attacking players, but that wasn't to be on Tuesday.
Back in contention after a recent injury picked up after he scored the winning goal at Stevenage, Rory McArdle is who we spoke to in the week, getting his thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I think as you said, you look at some of their results across the board from the start of the season, they'll have had some good results and some ones that you sort of think, how's that sort of happened? But the fact, as you said, they've changed their manager. It'll probably give them an initial boost, I think, as it always does when you see new managers come in. Whether he'll try and change too much midway through the season, might not happen too much, but I'm sure there'll be certain things that the manager will be trying to influence. He'll have his own ideas, his own stamp, and as I said, he's played there for the last few years, so he'll know what the players are about. So it's not a case of, I think, him going in and trying to find out what certain players are about. So it's something that we've got to be ready for, whether they've got, I don't know, some new set pieces, a new little system or something like that. We'll be well drilled for it, but equally we want to put our stamp on the game and make sure we cause them a few problems as well.
After glowing reviews, media assistant Jed Penberthy has earned the right to be on a regular feature on Park Life. So here he is with the lowdown on the O's.
Games seem to be coming thick and fast at the moment for Exeter City, as Leyton Orient are the latest team to St James's Park. Formed in 1881, named after the Orient shipping line that offered trade routes along the River Thames, Leyton Orient Football Club were formed out of the members of the Glyn Cricket Club in the local area. They've had 3 name changes since their formation, most recently in 1987, becoming Leyton Orient full-time. Their early years were much spent in non-league until 1929 when they got promoted to Division 3. In 1956 they won the Division 3 South as their first major title. In 1962 they were promoted to the First Division for the first time in their history. Their stay managed to last 3 years, but they haven't been able to return since, and though in League 2 at the moment it doesn't look that likely. They were in the Championship as recently as 2004, but a recent slide down the footballing pyramid saw them get into the National League by 2017. Though they were promoted as champions in 2019, they haven't really made a mark on League 2 since returning. You may notice a heartwarming message on the front of the Leyton Orient shirts this season. Thank You NHS was sponsored by Harry Kane, who wanted to thank the first club to give him a senior appearance. And of course the club aren't the only one that Harry's thanking. We at Exeter City want to share the message of support to thank the NHS for all of the work that they've done before, during and will be after this torrid COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. At 39 years old, you would have thought Joby McAnuff would have retired years ago, but he's been running the show in midfield for Leyton Orient this season. Now, on Saturday, he'll probably start on the touchline as he's taken up the role of interim manager at Leyton Orient. It seems to have been a smooth transition from playing to managing, as he managed to grab a 1-0 win in his first game against Grimsby on Tuesday night. And with 30 playing appearances this season as well, it's not like he's been out of the team either. But that's Joby McAnuff all over. He's been integral to every midfield he's been part in over the years, most notably at Reading when he signed in 2009. In 2012, as captain, he guided Reading to the Premier League for just the second time in the Royals' history. And with 32 international caps for Jamaica as well, it's not like he's being outside of the big boys either. With a capacity of 9,271, Leyton Orient's home is the Brea Group Stadium, or Brisbane Road between me and you. The ground was originally opened in 1937 as Osborne Road, but later adopted the name Brisbane. In 2012, Leyton Orient tried a cheeky bid to move away from Brisbane Road and into the newly built 60,000-seater Olympic Stadium. That bid did not even get onto the podium as West Ham United took the keys to the new National Stadium. That said, Leyton Orient's bid to move into publicity by getting a new stadium has pretty much made null and void now, as millions and millions of people are seeing Brisbane Road on their tellies every single week, as YouTube sensations The Sidemen have sponsored the stadium to take part in their footballing challenges. Fronted by gamer, rapper, boxer and all-round celebrity KSI, the Sidemen have managed to give Brisbane Road a new platform by putting it in front of a worldwide audience. This week's one to watch comes in the guise of Danny Johnson, the Leyton Orient striker who's got 16 goals this season and has been leading the line up top for the East London side. Johnson began his career in Spain at Real Murcia before moving to Harrogate Town in 2012. His reputation in non-league was elevated with 51 goals in 48 games for Guysborough, which caught the attention of then Premier League side Cardiff City. That move fell down, and he's managed to find his feet back in League Two with Leyton Orient. City's record against Leyton Orient is fairly well matched, but City have been able to win 5 of the last 7 against Leyton Orient, which almost classes Exeter as a bogey team. Jake Taylor's cultured Finnish managed to share the spoils when Exeter were in East London back in October, and now Leyton Orient are coming to a place where they lost 4-0 back in January 2017. It's hopefully a good omen for Exeter City. Orient don't travel well when they come to Devon. And finally, in 1926, Albert Pape, who was Leyton Orient's top scorer that season, travelled with the team for a 4th round fixture against Manchester United. Little did Pape know that 90 minutes before kick-off, he was actually transferred to the Red Devils, meaning he had to swap changing rooms and put on the home team shirt. Pape added insult to injury by scoring against his former employers in a 4-2 victory that saw Manchester United go through to the next round. You can only say that that made the Leyton Orient fans go, oh, sorry.
Victory. We all love a bit of silverware, don't we? Thank you so much to the 26 people, including myself and Scott, who took part in the football shirt charity run for charities, including the Bobby Moore Foundation. We beat second place Aston Villa by a whole 15 people who did a 5k run in aid of the charity. The second run, the entries for that are now open. Let's see if we can make it 2 out of 2. It's time to look back at the highlights from our game at Leyton Orient earlier in the season. Jake Taylor was on the score sheet in a 1-1 draw in a game where just a few hours before kick-off we picked up a certain Icelandic goalkeeper on the way. Here's Will now with a history lesson on the O's, looking back at some previous encounters and our recent record.
City's historic record against this weekend's opponents goes back to the 5th of February 1930, where goals from George Purcell, Arthur Doncaster and a brace from Cyril Hemingway saw City kick off our record against the O's with a superb 4-0 win. Back then, of course, our opponents were known as Leyton Orient and had originally been founded by members of the Glyn Cricket Club back in 1881. Now, looking back at the head-to-head history of the two sides, there are plenty of cricket scores to be found, with 55 of our 91 matches seeing 3 or more goals, while the scoring record in total reads 136 to City and 155 to the Orient. The highest scoring game between the sides was Orient's 7-1 win at the Park in November 1954, although we have hit our opponents for 6 ourselves, with our own record win being the 6-1 home victory back on December the 29th, 1952. Back in the present day, our last match was a relatively quiet affair in comparison to the record books, as Jake Taylor's equaliser earned us a point on the night that Joko Andreasen stepped up to the crease to make his debut for the Grecians. That 1-1 draw back in October means that City currently hold on to a narrow series lead of 32 wins to 31. So let's hope the lads can keep that edge in our favour and not let our promotion battle slip this weekend.
Our home game against Leyton Orient last season was cancelled as the season was curtailed early. So we head back to 2019 now for the O's last visit here, where Nicky Law's late penalty salvaged a point for the Grecians. Like ourselves, Leyton Orient were in action in the week as they made the long trip north to Grimsby. Here is how they got on.
Follow in your heart, in spirit, in soul. You make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world. From the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks. You're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There is no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, there's no better way to show your love. You can't be there with iFollow.
It's time for a classic encounter now. City ran out 4-0 winners against Leyton Orient in 2015. Tom Nichols scored twice. Alex Nichols and David Wheeler were also on the score sheet. Let's take a look at that one. We have picked 5 goals from February for your Vosper's Goal of the Month competition. Let's take a look at the contenders.
But what can the visitors do? It's a free kick by Sparks, it's flicked on by McArdle and flicked in by Rory McArdle. And Exeter do have their goal. After 2 barren games, it takes a first since September 2019 from Rory McArdle to put them in front.
The ball over the top. Real danger now. Good cross. Oh, and that's it. Laid on a plate by Robbie Wilmot. And Ryan Bowman wasn't going to miss that one. 2-2 with the hour mark just gone.
throw down the left sideline that's scooped forward by Jay. Cleared away, but not well away, and a good opening up on the edge of the area. It's really well hit. Bowman strikes from distance and beats the keeper from 18 yards out. And the side down to 10 men break the deadlock.
For the playoffs in years gone by, just the PC's not working well together right now. There's Taylor, Seymour. That's a good run by Key, and it's a cross for Wilmot. And there's the opening goal for Exeter. Lovely slick move. Cut right through the heart of Colchester here. And that was a nice, easy finish for Wilmot. There's a run out for the throw, which he takes quickly. And you can see why. Matt J, as ever, on the move. Key. What's a brilliant run from Key. Ball in. And Seymour's met it. And he's doubled Exeter's lead. Ben Seymour told the press he intended to take his chance with Ryan Bowman out suspended for a few games. And in terms of taking chances, he's taken that one gloriously.
You, the fans, have of course been voting, and you've chosen the winner as...
The throw, which he takes quickly. And you can see why. Matt J, as ever, on the move. Key. What's a brilliant run from Key. Ball in. And Seymour's met it. And he's doubled Exeter's lead. Ben Seymour told the press he intended to take his chance with Ryan Bowman out suspended for a few games. And in terms of taking chances, he's taken that one gloriously.
That is all we've got time for on Park Life this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you're tuning in for this one at home on iFollow. You can pick up a match pass for just £10. We'll of course have all the action from the game here on our social media channels, and after the game as well, with the report and reaction from the manager and the chosen player. Stay home, stay safe, and up the city!